Hello and welcome back to this channel. Happy Friday! Today is a twofer, a 2-for-1. If you didn't see the last video, that was all about Van Zandt. Yes, the fake lawsuit with the sham subpoena has re-entered the court docket, and I went from start to finish with everything that was filed in the last 24 hours that has to do with Van Zandt. So please go check out that video. In this video, it's going to be short and sweet. We're just going to talk about the other motions filed inside the Lively versus Wayfair in the It Ends With Never, as well as go over some of your comments from the week and a little review of the movie I saw last night by Wayfair called The Senior. So if you're ready for part 2 of today's video, grab that emotional support lip gloss. I hope you still have it handy from watching the Van Zandt video, and let's get into it. You are in frame with Mandy Magnan. In the course of the last 24 hours in the Abel versus Wayfair / Jennifer Abel case, a lot has gone on with Van Zandt. Motions to compel, oppositions, motion denied. The deposition for Van Zandt will be happening on September 30th. I'm not going to get into all of that in this video because I already spent a long time going over it. But definitely check that out. It will tell you everything you need to know literally from start to finish and every communication with Van Zandt. In the courts of It Ends With Never, Miss Lively has filed her own letter motion to compel, which I thought was quite hilarious because you first, Blake and Ryan, and now I just put them together because, you know, you first. We're over here trying to get Van Zandt, you know, to cooperate, and you want more documents from Wayfair? The 80,000 plus documents wasn't enough on top of all of the other stuff they gave you throughout the year. Like last week, you were complaining that you got over 80,000 documents. It's going to take you so long to go through it. And now you want 8,000 more. Let's get into the letter motion to compel that was filed by Blake Lively's counsel yesterday. And thank gosh it's short and sweet because it is boring as heck, okay? Pretty much they are saying, okay, I just like saying this, so respectfully request and order compelling Wayfair Studios, Justin Baldoni, Jamie Heath, Steve Saritz, It Ends With Us Movie LLC, Melissa Nathan, the Agency Group PR LLC, TAG, and Jennifer Abel, collectively, the Wayfair defendants, to produce a document-by-document privilege log for the signal communications currently identified in Category 1 of the Wayfair defendants' categorical privilege log. This whole letter, it's only 3 pages, but it's pretty much saying the exact same thing that the Wayfair people provided them with the privilege log, but it's not detailed enough for Blake Lively, okay? By way of background, on August 27th, this court granted that portion of Miss Lively's omnibus motion to compel, which sought the production of signal communications from the Wayfair defendants and their agents. As part of the court's order, the Wayfair defendants were ordered to produce by September 8th, all responsive non-privileged signal communications and a privilege log for documents post-dating Lively's complaint. We know that on September 8th, Wayfair asked for an extension for Steve Saritz as well as a couple other custodians, which the court denied. Okay, but then I guess they're saying that they still haven't got them. So in defiance of the court's order, the Wayfair defendants failed to produce any signal communications at all on September 15th, but have produced some signal communications at random times without notice since then. So like already I'm like, okay, so they didn't produce it on September 15th, but they produced it before, during, after. Okay. Notably, however, the Wayfair defendants have produced no signal communications whatsoever from Steve Saritz. And as for the remainder of the Wayfair defendants, any signal communications that were produced were limited exclusively to the time period after December 20th, 2024. I'm just very confused because how do they know, number one, that Steve Saritz has any signal communications? They could have been deleted. Maybe he wasn't privy to it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And maybe they weren't using Signal to talk about anything to do with Blake Lively until after December 20th when she filed her CRD complaint and they knew like, okay, we got to get our sheesh together, right? In other words, the Wayfair defendants have not produced a single signal communication for the time period between August through December 20th, during which time the evidence shows they were, in fact, communicating on Signal. But were they communicating about Blake Lively? Were they communicating about It Ends With Us? Instead, the vast majority of their post-December 20th Signal communications have been marked privileged and placed on a woefully deficient privilege log that fails to comply with the basic requirements of Local Civil Rule 26.2. See Example A. Among other things, categorical privilege log did not identify how many documents were being withheld within each category and otherwise failed to provide sufficient information for Ms. Lively to evaluate their privilege claims. During the parties' meet and confer on September 10th, Ms. Lively raised these concerns with the Wayfair defendants, explaining that much of this information can be generated automatically and which they agreed to take under advisement. In the footnote, it does say on Thursday, September 18th, the Wayfair defendants made yet another production of documents, which includes Signal communications involving Brian Freeman and Summer Benson, communications that this court ordered to be produced by September 8th. Okay, well, you still got it. To me, this whole thing screams like, hey, after months and months and months of Wayfair, I mean, they already produced all of their fact discovery. Blake Lively came back and broadened the search term and asked for so many extra additional things. They complied. She had to file motions to compel. Then they got over 80,000 production documents. Then they still wanted more. They still want more. And now they say 4,600 Signal communications are missing. If those 4,600 communications are going to prove your case, I don't think you got one. Okay, if you don't have one by now. But anyway, I digress. On September 15th, the Wayfair defendants produced an amended categorical privilege log, which now identifies the number of documents being withheld within each category. Critically, the Wayfair defendants' amended categorical privilege log demonstrates that the Wayfair defendants are withholding more than 4,600 Signal communications between December 20th and February 18th, claiming attorney-client, work product, and common interest privileges, all of which are lumped together in one entry. I find this super hypocritical and kind of bizarre and just so freaking two-faced, because if you watched the last video, Van Zandt is claiming the same thing. Attorney-client, work product, they're objecting to so many things. And now the Wayfair actually have Signal communications with their attorneys and with counsel, and they're saying, no, we want a detailed privilege log. We want these communications. Oh my gosh. Among the 21 participants identified on the privilege log are non-lawyers Jared Freeman and Spencer Friedman, who apparently work or intern at Liner Freeman, Tailman and Cooley LLP. Man, you know exactly who those are. I bet those are like his sons or some kind of his family at some point. I mean, same name. Here they are again, just blasting Brian Freeman, going after everyone that they can. Although, how do they know that they are not interning on this case? How do they know that they don't have attorney-client privilege? How did, are they the next now to get subpoenaed? I know that Blake Lively already tried to subpoena the entire firm at Freeman's law firm. Nuts. Although not reflected in the categorical privilege log, and despite being requested to specifically identify such communications, the Wayfair defendants admit that non-lawyers Friedmans were involved in Signal communications without any attorney presence, which are still being withheld for privilege. It is impossible to tell from the log who participated in which communications on which date and whether any attorneys were present, much less whether the purpose of the communications was for legal advice, public relations, which is not privileged, or some other purpose. For all 4,600 plus Signal communications that have been withheld, the Wayfair defendants provide the following language, which fails to provide any information that would reasonably enable Ms. Lively to assess the assertion of the privilege. Then you have this whole thing that's blanked out. Upon receiving this amended categorical privilege log, Ms. Lively again requested the Wayfair defendants amend their privilege log to provide additional information regarding the subject matter of the communications being withheld, so that Ms. Lively could assess the propriety of the Wayfair defendants' privilege claims. The Wayfair defendants declined Ms. Lively's request. This information is essential, especially given the Wayfair defendants' admission that they are withholding communications where no attorneys are present. While the court's order did not permit the Wayfair defendants to prepare a categorical privilege log for privileged signal communications, they appear to have taken this as an opportunity to yet again withhold plainly responsive communications, including an unknown number of communications with no attorney presence. To be sure, the Wayfair defendants' amended categorical privilege log is grossly deficient. Among other things, it is far from clear which of the 21 participants were involved in each of the 4,600 plus communications, how many of these communications lack attorney presence, and what the subject matter is for each. Given the third parties, including those represented by Liner, have previously attempted to withhold documents that are plainly not privileged, including communications that concern public relations, the subject matter of these communications must be provided with adequate detail to enable Ms. Lively to confirm that these communications are in fact those that concern legal strategy and not media or PR campaigns that are a core focus of Ms. Lively's claims and are not protected from disclosure. Well, you know what? I am just so happy that she said that these PR is a core focus of her claims, because she sure heck has lost everyone on the SH claims, because when was the last time she fought for that? When was the last time she talked about SH? It's all about PR. It's all about the smear campaign, which to me as a woman and as a survivor doesn't make no sense to me at all. Do you know what I would be fighting for? Being violated, being harassed, being repeatedly harassed, all of the things that she claimed. If I was being repeatedly sexually harassed, that's what I would be fighting for. My rights as a woman to exist in the world. But no, it's all about her reputation. It's all about the smear campaign. The fact that the Wayfair defendants and TAG might have been sensitive to public relations considerations associated with this litigation does not make the public relations or crisis management experts part of the legal strategy or integral to the request or provision of legal advice. Indeed, as this court previously observed, the Wayfair defendants' communications with counsel often have no legal purpose and other times include a mix of legal and public relations purpose. As a result, after performing in-camera review, the court made privilege and work product determinations not only on a document-by-document basis, but sometimes made determinations within the same document that part of the communication was privileged and some parts were not. Likewise, in their amended privilege log in connection with the Catherine case and Brianna Kozlow third-party documents production, the Wayfair defendants undertook the same analysis and similarly made privilege assertions document by document and within documents at times. That same level of analysis and designation is not only warranted here, but necessary, as have previously been shown. And most fundamentally, the Wayfair defendants' use of a single identical description for more than 4,600 separate communications underscores that the articulated privilege basis falls woefully short of supporting any claim of privilege. I'm pretty sure that the Wayfair people and their counsel know that there's nothing in these 4,600 communications and or that they are all work product doctrine and or attorney client, and that's why they're just putting those one little liners. Like at this point, honestly, I think they are just kind of like messing with them, because like they know how to do a freaking privilege log if they wanted to, okay? And like she said, they did do it for Catherine case and Brianna Kozlow. So I don't know. I don't know what kind of game they're playing, but really these 4,600 communications, this is really going to like make or break your case. I mean, I just think it's really funny that she filed this on the same day that they put in about Van Zandt. That's all I'm going to say. Put simply, the amended categorical log provides virtually no information for Ms. Lively to assess their claims of privilege for over 4,600 plus communications as required by Rule 26B. Accordingly, given that the Wayfair defendants have had two opportunities to prepare to prepare a categorical privilege log that complies with local rules 26.2, and twice they have failed to do so. It is respectfully submitted that the Wayfair defendants be compelled to produce a document-by-document privilege log on an expedient basis. Specifically, Ms. Lively respectfully requests the Wayfair defendants produce a document-by-document privilege log that confirms with the same privilege log that they previously submitted in response to the court's September 14th order, which identified privileged communications by individual document and even portions of communications within a document. I found Exhibit D rather interesting. This is their meet and conferral emails about this whole situation. There is 2 exhibits, but Exhibit C was kind of boring. It literally just says the exact same thing, like, we need a privilege log, you didn't give us everything. And this is kind of interesting because Kevin Fritz here keeps telling them, like, we don't have anything else to give you. Like, we provided everything else. This email was originally sent by Blake Lively's counsel from Manat, Phelps, and Phillips, Miss Stephanie. And it's just saying, we note that you did not produce any signal communications for any of the Wayfair defendants on September 15th, nor any signal communications for Steve Saretz on September 12th, although you had previously promised both. In reviewing the Wayfair defendants' recent document production on September 8th and 12th, only a small handful of signal communications were produced. That's interesting because didn't they just say that they didn't get anything, but then they only got a little bit, but they want more? Anyway, only a small handful of signal communications were produced, none of which predate December 20th for any of the Wayfair defendants, nor are there any signal communications at all from Mr. Soretz's custodian files for any time period. As you know, the Wayfair defendants represented to this court that Ms. Lively shall have Mr. Soretz's responsive non-privileged signal messages by September 12th. Okay? So, like, let us know. Let us know when we're getting them. Then Mr. Kevin Fritz answered, Stephanie, your summary and understanding are both incorrect. The Wayfair parties have now produced 523 family complete, non-privileged signal messages in their possession, custody, and control. As the court stated in its order dated August 29th, a responding party who denies that documents exist cannot be compelled to produce them unless the discovering party makes an adequate showing to overcome that assertion. If you have any basis to assert that the Wayfair parties have failed to produce signal communications that exist, please set forth the basis thereof in detail. With respect to the privileged nature of certain signal communications, we will be serving an updated log of those communications, which is significantly less than 4,600 as alleged in your email. When accounting for duplicate communications, liar, liar, pants on fire. To the extent that you claim that our prior categorical privilege log lacks sufficient detail for you to evaluate our privilege assertions, please specify what additional information would assist you in your evaluation. Kevin Fritz don't play, okay? He's like, first of all, you're incorrect. Your understanding, you're not clocking it, okay? You're saying a bunch of words, but it's not true. And second of all, they're duplicate anyway. And if you want more information, we don't have it. Unless you can prove somehow that we're lying and that you have something that we don't have, how are we supposed to give you something that doesn't exist? That's basically what Kevin Fritz is saying here. Then we come up here. So that was from Kevin Fritz. Then we have Matthew jumping in. Okay, Stephanie's out of here. Matthew's in. Tag. And he writes, to be clear, you are representing in your email below that there are no signal communications prior to December 20th and no non-privileged signal communications between Mr. Saret's possession, custody, or control. Please confirm immediately. As for the categorical log, we have explained our position regarding the need for additional information to assess the Wayfair defendant's claim of privilege. You have refused to amend the log to address our concerns. As such, we are at an impasse and we will seek appropriate relief. Lastly, when can we expect to receive the Wayfair defendant's second amended categorical log? Of course, your explanation below raises additional questions as to whether the Wayfair defendants are preparing a proper log, which we reserve the right to raise with the court. How does that say that they're... I didn't get that they're doing another one. Anyway, that's what he got from it, okay? So Stephanie tagged out, Matthew tagged in, and now that's what he had to say to Kevin. Let's see if Kevin answers here. Oh, Kevin answered Matt. Not Mathieu, not Matthew, not Mr. Bruno, Matt. Okay, Matt, listen here. The way you signed it on the end of your email here, Matt. Thank you for your email. We are representing that we have produced non-privileged signal messages within our client's possession, custody, or control. We understand from your email that Ms. Lively lacks any basis to allege that the Wayfair parties have failed to produce non-privileged signal communications that exist. We have repeatedly asked you to identify the additional information that you are requesting be contained within our privilege log, and you have refused to identify any such information. Although we understand you are eager to declare an impasse rather than substantively respond to our questions, we remain available to resolve any open dispute. And then that was it. Okay. It seems like the Wayfair people were just asking them, what more do you want? What more do you want? What more do you want? What more can I give you? We are here. We are ready. We are able. We are willing. What do you want? We are more than willing to keep going and answer all of your questions and work this out. But did that happen? No. Allegedly, that was the last email that we can see anyway. And then Blake Lively ran to the courts. But yet, whenever the Wayfair people file anything in the courts, oh, they didn't meet and confer, oh, they didn't do this, or they're using it for PR, or da-da-da-da. Enough. And you know what I say, Blake? You first. Explain Van Zandt. Yeah, can't, can ya? No, we'll see what happens on September 30th at the deposition. It's just too much. I just think there's just a lot going on. After doing everything about Van Zandt and finding out about everything about Van Zandt, I've just had it like literally up to here with Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. I'm done. If I wasn't already, oh my gosh, y'all. It's just a little bit too crazy. The fact that they're even going to the courts now after even reading like Kevin Fritz's emails to them saying, what more do you want? Explain to us what you want. Let us know, like prove to us that there's more communications. Like we can't do it if we don't have it. Like you explain to us how you want the privilege log in detail. What information do you want? We'll do that. Let's work this out. And then instead of them even doing it, they run to the courts. But then when Wayfair files motions in the court, all of a sudden they're like, oh, well, they didn't meet and confer. They didn't do this. They didn't do that. It's like the games that they're playing to me is just so wild, especially when they're attaching themselves. The attachments that prove otherwise to what they're saying in their files is like, wow. So far, nothing has helped them. The judge is making some crazy calls. Nothing's helped them. Like even all the signal messages so far only prove that Wayfair was only looking to protect themselves, and they were literally defending themselves. They were never smearing Blake. They were just looking for the truth to get out there. The only thing I have seen so far about Justin Baldoni speaking poorly about Blake Lively is when he said that she is a person who always thinks she's right. Blake has used that now against him multiple times because it's the only thing they can find. And then, of course, the secret recording that they have of Steve Saueritz when he was talking to someone, whether it was a meeting, whether it was a phone call, whether it was in person, it could have, who knows. But they had someone go out, be an op, a little snitchy snitch, and record Steve Saueritz when he said that he's willing to spend endless amounts of money to bury and destroy Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, and he will stop at nothing to protect the studio. And there's going to be 2 dead bodies when he's done, but not dead like you're dead to me, you're out of here. Wouldn't anyone want to protect themselves? And like, especially against these kinds of accusations, if you had the money and the resources, you would spend every dollar protecting that. Imagine if they didn't have the money and resources. And that's what I think Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds didn't bet on. They thought that they were going to be able to pull this over, get the rights for the book, get the rights for the next movies. Everyone would believe Blake Lively because of the Me Too movement. They wouldn't see through any of the lies. Wayfair was never going to do any counterclaims. They were never going to get Brian Freeman. They were never going to tell us the truth. And to this day, had they not had the backing and the resources that they have, the whole world would think that Justin Baldoni, Jamie Heath, Steve Soritz, and everyone else on that set, including the actor Adam Moonshine and everyone working on that set, were all big, huge pervs. Unfreaking believable. Unbelievable. Anywho, let's get to some of your comments from the week. Yay! These are in no particular order, just some comments that I found from the week from you guys that I thought were pretty cool, giving me something to think on, or just made me screenshot it. I don't know. They're from the last week. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm getting like a little bit restless here, I can tell. But this first comment is from ubiquitous_1. Says, exactly, all a distraction. Who recorded Steve Soritz? Still waiting on that and Van Zandt sham subpoena. The thing that started it all. Blake and Ryan don't have truth, but they sure have a lot of PR, aka a lot of smoke and mirrors. Yeah, one thing about those people is they don't have the truth on their side. They don't have the truth. I mean, a lot of the things that Blake Lively has put in her CRD complaint, as well as that were reported in the New York Times, has already been debunked. It's already happened. They do not have the truth on their side, but Lord have mercy, they have a lot of PR, and that Taylor Swift thing was definitely a distraction. And I guess now you got your wish, because Van Zandt is in the courts again. At DDimWazi8461 said, I watched Little Girl Attorney. She said Blake Lively is now saying the retaliation started during filming because of the causation issue, as that is a lot of time that passed between her so-called complaints and where she alleged the retaliation started in August of 2024. But she had already said nothing happened during phase 2 of filming after those 17 points. Yeah, so in the filings for the Source Intelligence, the company, the Source Intelligence, the PIs that were hired, the security firm that was hired by Brian Freeman in late December of 2024, Blake Lively put in her motions that she is undergoing trying to uncover a smear campaign that started during filming. Literally wrote that. We covered it here, and that was the first time that was mentioned. So who knows if now she's going to try to like backtrack and say that it happened in pre-production. It's been happening. It happened the entire time. From what I know from reading everything, at first she was only saying the smear campaign started in August, the first week of August during the film release. Then in the Sourced Intelligent document, she wrote it was happening during filming. So who knows where she's going with that and why she dropped that little egg in there. But yeah, we'll see. But again, it doesn't make sense also because in Blake Lively's own words, she said everything in phase 2 was Gucci Gucci. I mean, she didn't say Gucci Gucci, but you know. Dimani Shiwat 7447. These stories came right out of the blender. Everyone is lying and saving face, and this is what a smear campaign looks like. I feel so bad for the Wayfair party. I just hope when all is done, public opinion will be what saves them. Yeah, this is what a smear campaign looks like. Star Magazine, Star Media putting out some exclusive about a guy serving Taylor Swift a subpoena at 2 a.m. and hopping over Travis Kelce's fence. No evidence, nothing in the Russ reports, nothing had his name on it. They just had the name, they did everything. And then every single big media company just ate it and then regurgitated it up as truth and fact. Wild. Even to this day, today, you Google Justin Baldoni, and that's what comes up. This subpoena being served to Taylor Swift at Travis Kelce's house, which is not true. Until there's evidence, I don't believe it. At Gladys G7515 wrote, I think that we don't realize how far Ryan and Blake will go to save themselves. It has become a situation of life and death for them. Don't forget their CIA guy. I am sure that the subpoena story comes from Ryan and Blake. We've seen how far they're willing to go. I mean, the fact that they even created a fake lawsuit using an inactive company named Van Zandt, I will not ever stop talking about it. They are willing to go to the depths of hell in order to ruin these innocent people's lives. And at this point, they can't backtrack because they've gone too far. It's gone too far. Do you know what I mean? Now there's just so many lies piled on top of lies, piled on top of lies, piled on top of lies. Like, they can't pull out now. And they, I think, are willing to go all the way to ruin these people's lives. And it's all based on nothing. It's all based on one cycle of bad PR, and they couldn't handle the criticism. Disgusting. At Alini Diasio 8484 wrote, imagine if Scarlett wins an Oscar. Blake Lively will have real emotional distress. I started laughing. I mean, I'm still laughing about it. I think this is just so funny because we all know now she pulled her emotional distress. She pulled like her two biggest claims of emotional distress and only wants to go on Garden Variety. So it's just so funny to bring up, like, yeah, what is going to cause Blake Lively emotional distress? That would do it. At One Lucky Doe 820 wrote, you know what? I'm the type of person that likes to give credit where credit is due. And I think Hollywood needs to make sure that Blake and Ryan know they are the reason that all of those Hollywood secrets are in the forefront, the dirty little tactics that they use to smear each other and take each other down. And it's amazing because amongst all these celebrities that are doing all this crazy BS, Justin, Jamie, and Steve said no. We just want to make sure that the movie succeeds and the message is received, and we are not interested in smearing, slandering, or going after people in a shady, disgusting, horrible way. Yes. And it's been proven. If they wanted to smear Blake, they could have leaked some of those text messages. They could have leaked how she went over the budget of wardrobe by $500,000. They could have leaked the text messages between the producers saying they were worried about Blake Lively taking control. There were so many things that they could have given to really, really, really smear Blake Lively, and they didn't. They only gave us the truth after she filed her CRD complaint, and they countered it. They were willing to go to the grave with all of Blake Lively's dirty little secrets, but now we know and we see them for the monsters that they are, her and her husband. At Didim Wazi 8461. I feel like, did I already read a comment from you? Anyway, sorry, I'm getting distracted. Anyway, well, I guess if I did, here's a second one to you, okay? It's just amazing that they keep going for Justin. I think they have never encountered a person who seems too good to be true. So they just need to make him the bad guy. Good, not perfect, but a good heart. I think Ryan Reynolds is so bothered by this man that it's making him unhinged. I completely agree. I mean, they tried everything to go after Justin. His religion. Then they tried politics. Remember when they all tried to make us hate us, left or right, left or right? If you're on Blake Lively's side, you're left. But if you're going, if you're support for Wayfair, you're far right. They tried everything. And all they could find on Justin Baldoni was toxic positivity. He was too positive. And I think because Blake and Ryan especially, I think, are so monstrous and they've done so many horrible things to people, they thought, well, for sure these guys have skeleton in the closets. For sure there's going to be a bunch of people coming out. For sure there's going to be tons of people coming and running to our aid. I think Justin Baldoni is the guy that Ryan Reynolds wants to be. Okay, and then last but not least, Nicole_1980X said, yes! OMG, oh my G, OMG. Thank you for bringing up the Candace Owens investigation. All I want to say to you is thank you for being brave enough to speak on it. Mandy, you are the real deal, and you are in it for the facts, and you don't hold back no matter what the chatter is on the outside or possibly in your ear. And this is why I trust you. You say it all and let it all fall, and that's what we can do. Present the facts and let it fly. You are truly impressive. Well, thank you, Nicole. I appreciate you so much for being here. And yeah, we need to protect Candace Owens and everyone that's investigating the Charlie Kirk thing. And I have my own questions on that. I've secretly been kind of putting together my own investigation and compiling a bunch of videos and looking at the evidence. So if y'all want me to put something together with the questions I have, like, I don't have any other evidence than what everyone else has been presenting, but I have a list of questions and then videos associated to that because it's not making sense. And every day it's being debunked even more. But thank you so much, Nicole. And thank you to everyone that's here, honestly, that supports this channel and is like vibing with me. Because, yeah, I am here for truth. I am here to stand in my morality. I'm here to support the little guy and talk about anything that I want to talk about. Okay. And yeah, I just kind of put it out there and let the chips fall where they may. And sometimes that doesn't align with everyone, and sometimes it does. But I am just doing my best. Okay. With that being said, last night I went to go watch The Senior Wayfair movie. The Senior, it is about a man in 2007. It is a real life story. A 59-year-old man who goes back for his senior year to finish his last season of football. Based on a true story, I have to say the casting was unbelievable. The music, the story. It's such a good movie. I mean, it'll make you laugh. It'll make you cry. And it's more than just football. It touches on like toughness. Do you know, if you were raised in the generation above me, like our fathers and our great grandfathers and our great grandfathers, they were like tough, hard men, tough love, and breaking that kind of generational cycle for your kids and the generations coming after you, and men being men and wives and husbands communicating and supporting each other, and the scariness of having such a hard shell and like not being able to use your words instead of your fists. And there were so many through lines within that movie. It was beautiful. It was so beautifully done. And like, I haven't seen a real good football movie like in a long time, you know, with that same vibe, that motivational like vibe. It was really good. I gotta say, the football players, okay, they were it was nice. It was a good movie. Okay, the eye candy was good. Again, the musical score was amazing. The acting, I literally think the guy that starred in The Senior should get a nomination for some kind of awards because he was brilliant. This movie is very special, and I think it's so, so, so important. So that's 2 out of 3 of the September Wayfair movies I have to see. I still haven't seen Code 3. I'm not sure if I can yet, but y'all definitely need to check out The Senior. Is out right now. So is Eleanor the Great. And check on Code 3. It might still be in theaters. Thank you so much. If y'all aren't part of the channel yet, please subscribe, get notified, like, comment, and hype the video. And if you're down to dig a little bit deeper and focus on mindfulness, being your true self, really becoming the person of your future, and letting go of self-limited beliefs, we do that all in the membership group. It's a small accountability group where it's a safe space, but where you can goal set and really dive in a little bit deeper into your own stuff, okay? And work it out so that every day you can show up as your true authentic self and start smashing goals. If that's something you're interested in, it's the lowest tier. It's only $2.99 a month. And I swear after that, if you're not completely inspired, entertained, and or empowered, or all three, let me know, okay? It's just starting, it's brand new, and it's a really, really, really special place that I'm trying to build for like-minded people who really do want to dive a little bit deeper into their life and live an intentional life. So if that's for you, join the membership. But if not, have the best weekend, and it's all good, y'all. I love you so much. I hope this weekend you can take some time out to love yourself a little bit more, cherish who you are, and just be grateful every day that we are here and that we get to experience the beauty of this beautiful, beautiful place that has been designed for us. I love you so much, and I hope you have a good weekend. I will see you on Monday. Talk to you soon. Bye.